and some big-time names hitting our schedule today.
Yeah, it's a tremendous slate. You always wonder how is it going to work out. We've had some upstarts getting into that women's doubles. Grechkina and Stratman, good for them. They are going to put on a show for us later, and we're starting out with the dudes. And it's Fed versus Tyson, and this is going to be something else with men's singles. The singles is 2 out of 3. The doubles 3 out of 5 until we get to mixed, which will play 2 out of 3.
Well, now you're going to look at championship court. I mean, this is the place to be. It's been rocking all weekend long. North Carolina, and specifically Charlotte, loves their pickleball. Over 920 total participants in this tour. Stop the 9th on the Carvana PPA Tour. But you mentioned it. You can see the mullet already flowing. That's the man, Tyson McGuffin, one of the best singles players in the world, facing off against another amazing singles player in Federico Staksrud.
Yeah, Staksrud's had a great run in singles to start the year. He's got a gold and 3 silvers, and would like to add another gold. There's the good look at the man from Argentina, now lives down in Florida. Terrific player, and has really added that singles to his doubles game, has been making a mark there as well.
Federico Staksrud rocking the #1 seed. There's already been a title. Actually, just the last time we played singles competition was Selkirk Red Rock Open, and that man won, Tyson McGuffin. Trying to loop that in is Staksrud, and you mentioned it. We're playing best 2 of 3 games to 11 points here. Tyson McGuffin, one of the most electrifying men in all of sport. Not just because of the mullet.
It helps.
But because of that, quick feet for the man from Washington, originally out of Lake Chelan, now Coeur d'Alene, Idaho.
And what a great job of covering that open court. And Tyson is going to be having a conversation with the crowd this entire match. He'll be barking later for sure, and he wants to get them behind him.
These two have only faced off, get this, twice in their careers. And what also might surprise those who know them is Federico Staksrud has won both of those matchups.
Yeah, they've been very tight. He won 8-11, 13-11, 12-10. That's how close this has been in the past. We'll see if we get another barn burner here today.
Tyson McGuffin, just 33 years of age, facing off against the 27-year-old in Staksrud. Staksrud has 2 PPA gold medals. The first came in 2022 in Atlanta versus Rafa Hewitt in the final.
That was fun. We had Fed versus Rafa, but pickle.
A little different.
Yeah.
So you must have the serve to win the point if you're new to pickleball.
1-1.
Glad to have you here. A little passing shot for Tyson McGuffin.
Yeah, he talks about he loves to hit, and got F1 in the States. That Ferrari forehand of his.
Called him Carlos Seitz earlier. Not sure he's Charles today.
You see what Federico does so well. He gets the ball down on the ground and then doesn't let you out of jail.
So what are some of the areas for Tyson McGuffin to look on the opposing side and maybe go after for Staksrud, who has just been so good making it to final after final in 2023?
Yeah, both these guys love to hit their forehand, so can you find a backhand? Easier said than done, but nice job there of getting it on the ground. And then just when you have a chance to get forward, you have to. Both of these guys are going to want to get to the kitchen. Got to pick the right ball in the right spot.
2-2.
So maybe explain to those new to the game of pickleball, why are they trying to find that forehand? Because to maybe the unfamiliar eye, it looks like you're getting out of position, leaving so much court to work through.
Yeah, you're going with the shot you trust more, and in this case, both these gentlemen love their forehands. There are players, and some of the ladies really love their backhands, and we'll see that in the women's singles later today. And it just gives you angles. So if you run around the backhand in the corner, you can pull that down the line inside in or go inside out back the other way.
So adding a little bit of disguise while potentially giving up some court positioning.
Yes.
There's the inside in. Thank you, Tyson.
Yeah, we appreciate it. This is not scripted. Not scripted.
3-2. Hard to tell which direction he's going off that forehand side. A little net love for Staksrud. Played tennis at the University of New Orleans as well as Tennessee Wesleyan.
2-3.
Lots of open court, but you gotta love the hustle from Staksrud.
Yeah, and McGuffin was in a weird place earlier this year, Cam, fighting some injuries, and we wondered, you know, is he going to get back? And he has come back with authority. And another final here today. Took bronze and mixed.
Yeah, we saw him pick up double gold at the Selkirk Red Rock Open, played alongside Brendan Long for men's pro doubles. Little cat and mouse to get your morning started.
Yeah, and Tyson would like to not be the mouse next time. Terrific job by Staksrud again. He held that until McGuffin either committed, and by committing it can mean you didn't do anything, and hit it into the open court.
Federico Staksrud working the inside out, saying that's the ball right there, the passing shot.
So if you keep getting beat by that, then you do what doesn't sound intuitive, is to return it to the forehand. And that's exactly what McGuffin does there.
The ball just out of bounds. Tyson McGuffin, former tennis player, picked up the game at about the age of 15, was also a former wrestler. Started playing pickleball back in 2015. Played 4-5 singles to start and quickly won. It's funny, he talks about just the journey of pickleball, and it's so similar to those coming from the amateur ranks now into the professional ranks as we hit a timeout. But it always just gives me just a slight smirk as he ended up going pro in just 6 months' time, played on an indoor gym floor, and all of a sudden here he is playing in gold medal matches in 2023. These two are going to take a break, as are we. Welcome back to Championship Court. Staksrud up 6-3 over Tyson McGuffin here in game number 1. There's a look at this Skechers clad Tyson McGuffin flipping the hair.
Sign game on point today.
I was going to say, he's got to flip his game here, though, down by 3.
Yeah.
Time in, 6-3.
That's a good way to start. If there's anyone that has the ability to run off a streak of points, it's Tyson McGuffin.
No doubt about it. Good time out there to stop the run from Staksrud.
What did I say about a streak? There's 2 straight for McGuffin.
And so you watch the inside out or the inside in beat you when you return to the backhand, so you think, I'm going to get him on a return to the forehand, and then that happens.
A nice read from Federico Staksrud. Found the game, went pro in 2021, and has devoted so much time to the court, and it showed. A little hands battle good thing Fed just has to smile. He can't even do anything else.
I mean, he's like, this point's over right there. Wait, why are you still here, Tyson?
That's a heck of a cut for Tyson McGuffin.
And Staksrud had the ATP and needed to take one more step. I realize this is a long run, but if he takes one more step instead of sliding, he's got it.
I don't know if he had room for one more step.
He had the little choppy one.
5-6.
Oh, and he thought he had it. It's been really solid on that inside end going up the line.
Yeah, beat him cleanly there. Had a lot of room.
But I think it's called out of bounds.
Yeah, it was indeed.
And there's going to be a challenge here, I believe.
We have a challenge on the out call.
And these two also notorious for being great lines callers.
100%.
I'm going to make that sentiment clear.
4-6. We will now proceed with the video review.
But nonetheless, this is close enough to take a second look at.
Now, there is an interesting strategic decision here because McGuffin's already called timeout. If this is not overturned, he is done with challenges and timeouts for the rest of the game.
Yeah, he even just looked over at Fed and said, just asked again, like, in, out, and Fed said, yeah, pretty sure that's out, but they're going to take another look.
Yeah, he might have one of the fans
Well,
there.
and there's a look at Pablo Tellez, a very, very good friend to Federico Staksrud as we take a look. He is his men's doubles partner. There's a look at the call. And Pablo Tellez was just in a final up against Tyson McGuffin at the Selkirk Red Rock Open.
Yeah, and that was a very good day for Tyson. Played brilliantly against the lefty Tellez. That's what we keep seeing more and more, these groups of players that either are partners or training partners are supporting each other as they advance and get to a stage like this, and are doing anything they can to help, whether it's just a supportive smile or a couple of strategic ideas for them to add to their game.
And Fed's even now looking at the fans saying it without, right? As they double check this. We do have a slew of championship matches still to come here on the Carvana PPA Tour this championship Sunday. Coming up next, it's the women's doubles matchup. Then we will head to the men's doubles matchup, a rematch from the Newport Beach doubles shootout. Close our day with women's singles.
Upon video review, the call stands. The ball was out. The challenge is lost. The timeout is lost. 1 timeout, 2 timeouts.
So the call stands, ball out of bounds. Tyson loses another timeout. Also important to note, we have our mixed doubles final will be played at 6 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2.
Don't miss it.
Time in. 6, 5. Point.
It's a good response coming out of a video challenge. He's found that twice now. This is a scary thing. Do you start to shift towards that inside out and open up the line? The quickest shot sticks with the drop to the backhand side.
Yeah, and Fed is frustrated there because he hit a dynamite serve and got a short return, but then couldn't get the ball down. So McGuffin was in deep trouble there. Good recovery. Let's see if McGuffin can bang some deep serves.
And I believe that's the third one for him going up the line. And this is where we talk about cat and mouse up at the kitchen line, but there's even the adjustments from the ground strokes, the
100%.
baselines for passing shots.
Yeah, and it's all set up by the quality of the serve and the return placement.
So when do you start to make the shift? Oh, and Tyson was behind in that point the entire way.
Yeah, and then Staksrud let him off the hook with a very average drop shot, and you brought your opponent right up to the kitchen line, and we're tied at 7.
And this time he makes the adjustment. A great stroke from Federico Staksrud.
Yeah, because if he doesn't get enough on that, McGuffin is there. So that was a tough ball from Staksrud off the full extension.
Foot fault, left foot, point.
Foot fault for Tyson McGuffin. Cannot volley the ball while stepping on or within the kitchen line. So the advantage goes back to Staksrud.
8, 7.
Winning it from the baseline. Not easily done.
Just tremendous, and that's the transition tennis players have to make, which is that ball he just hit in tennis would have been demolished, but you have the safety of the kitchen, and he dropped it in there, got back into the point, and then hit a beautiful forehand pass.
9-7 for Staksrud.
Time out. That's what I asked. For video challenge, we have 0 timeouts for Mr.
I was going to say a timeout called. However, Tyson has none remaining, so they're going to jump back out on the court because of the video challenge that did not go his direction in terms of it being overcalled. He lost one of his timeouts.
So McGuffin is acting like we're on a timeout here. So that's
and Fed goes, I see what you're doing.
he got a half timeout there somehow, which I don't think we usually dole him out in halves.
Well, he makes him pay either way.
Yeah, so if McGuffin's going to cut that backhand to try and give himself some time, it's going to sit up, and then Staksrud's going to have a choice, and he's here at a game point.
10, 7.
Oh, that was it for Tyson McGuffin. A solid read. He waited on the forehand up at the kitchen line, but game number 1 goes to Federico Staksrud. A great late adjustment in terms of those inside-out forehands.
Yeah, really, really well done there. And he was dictating with his serve, and then the pass were terrific. See if he can keep it going, or will Tyson force a 3rd game?
Welcome back to Charlotte, North Carolina, as we look to the road to gold for Federico Staksrud. This was his path through the draw.
Yeah, flawless. Didn't ever go 3. Jake Kuzmiter had a great run there. He took out Jack Sock in the quarterfinals to get a chance to play Fed. And Kuzmiter lost to Christian Alshon in the bronze medal match, so he ended up with a 4th place finish here, but a real good run for Jake. And McGuffin did not lose a game until a minute ago in his run to the gold medal.
Game 2.
Got to find a game here if he wants to take home gold.
Point.
It's a good start. Tyson McGuffin known for the wicked serve he possesses. Plenty of pace on that.
1, 0.
Great location as well. Works to the backhand.
And he got exactly what he wanted. A ball with no spin on it, sitting up on the forehand, just overcooked it.
0-1. Point.
One of my favorite fun facts about Tyson McGuffin in terms of the origin story, we mentioned Lake Chelan. Can you guess the mascot for Lake Chelan High School?
Can't wait for you to tell us all, Cam.
Point.
I'm going to wait until he finds a point.
Yeah,
We'll leave you hanging on the edge of your seat for now.
Don't put that out there after Fed just dropped a beautiful
I won't do that to the
ball
man.
inside out there.
Nice deflection there, standing just in the middle of the court for Federico Staksrud.
And that's such a great read by Staksrud, because he sees McGuffin go for the Ernie, and where his paddle is looking has got to be cross court, and he just sat there, didn't over. Sometimes people run yourself into a problem. He just stayed. Great job. Great start again for Staksrud.
ATP for Staksrud.
And even he's pointing to his ear to hear from the crowd. Oh, you love the ones that kiss off the tape because it goes even wider for you.
Some quick feet for Staksrud. Looking for a third gold medal in men's pro singles. Tyson getting urged from the right side of your screen.
Yeah, and I think they thought that was in, and it was not, unfortunately.
Wife Meg sitting just in the corner there.
Oh.
Is that the moment?
No.
That's not it?
That's not it.
Oh, gosh. You know everyone's Googling it right now.
I want them to. Get involved.
Don't throw it in the chat yet, folks.
No, because Fed
Don't ruin it.
Fed had exactly what he wanted there. So let's see him earn one here, and then you can drop that bomb on all of us.
1-5.
And it seems as if right now Federico Staksrud, just perfect placement, well controlled.
Yes.
At the kitchen line.
5-1.
And even from the baseline.
I mean, if you can't get your returns to the back edge of that baseline, you are having to either guess or read the paddle, and it is a very difficult way to play singles against this guy. Fed is on fire here in Charlotte.
On fire with a 6-1 advantage. You can see the team Tyson McGuffin right there. Wife Meg on the far left of your screen. Let's see if they can get their guy rallied here in game number 2, trailing by 5. Let's take a look at Tyson McGuffin, the mountain goat, and his road to gold.
There it is. Mountain goats. Love to see. How did they get up those rocks? Well, this is a man who needs to get his mountain goat on right now and climb the mountain, because he is in a big hole here in game number 2, and he's already dropped game 1.
That's one way to get going. Looks over to the corner. This OS1st North Carolina Open presented by Intralinks is your 9th stop on the Carvana PPA Tour.
I mean, those are outrageous volleys from Staksrud. Look at that right there.
I mean, you just spun around like it was so casual. Come on, Fed. That's unreal.
Fed, if you're going to make people think that what you just did is easy.
It's easy. It was so casual, you almost didn't notice the 360.
Come on. And you're usually going to get one fake swing a match from McGuffin. Gave it to us there, but he found the backhand after a great return. That will be the prescription for coming back here.
And again, one of the biggest elements for singles play, we always talk about the serve, the return, but also the ability to have great lateral motion and especially have solid volleys at the kitchen line.
Yeah, if you don't punch that first volley, you're just asking for trouble, and then you're at the mercy of your opponent. Again, stuck volley from Staksrud.
Protecting that backhand side is McGuffin.
Looking over at his corner, trying to just find that energy. This is an energy player.
I mean, the guy does love some UFC. He's got some fighters over in his corner.
There's a whole lot of mountain goating running across the court there. That was impressive.
3-6.
Nice response from Fed.
Yeah, great return. Risky on the sideline. Caught the sideline, though, and then McGuffin couldn't scamper down the next one.
6-3.
Just off the toe of the paddle, Federico Staksrud using that Perseus from Yola.
Coming out in June.
3-6.
Oh, so much hustle, but just enough touch from Staksrud.
And then the Selkirk paddle took that UFC punch here at the end.
Timeout's over. Score is 6-3.
So another timeout taken on championship court. Federico Staksrud, the #1 seed for men's singles action. Now residing in Estero, Florida. Trains full-time. Former collegiate tennis star hitting the pickleball court. Also potentially becoming a broadcaster based off what we saw this weekend. Loving the post-match interviews.
Oh, fantastic. Absolutely.
He gave us a nice little, and back to you.
Yes. Fed, we'll take it back from you out of break anytime, buddy.
One of the great personalities in the game. Actually, both of these two fellas now hitting championship court.
Appreciate the thumbs up, sir. You were on TV and we got you. So thank you. Thanks to North Carolina for packing it in here. Biggest tournament in North Carolina history here, Cam. And Fed Staksrud playing at the top of his game. You saw DJ Young sitting there as well as Pablo Tellez with him. Just, again, just nice to have that friendly face. We talked about the corner, which is literally that corner right there for McGuffin.
Federico Staksrud found the game of pickleball through a friend that used to come to some of his tennis clinics. That's where it all began.
Again, that gorgeous inside out with just such a severe angle there. Staksrud is up 4.
I mean, Tyson, it feels like he's just one big shot away from finding some points.
Yeah, and Staksrud just keeps painting lines, though.
He does.
I mean,
what are you supposed to do?
Tip your cap sometimes. Sometimes that Sketcher cap, you just got to tip it.
Federico Staksrud started off this season with back-to-back silver medals at the Masters and JW Marriott Desert Ridge Open.
Yeah, and then he won indoors, so that's an interesting fact here. And here we are back indoors, and he's 2 points from another indoor title.
That's just a buttery drop right there.
Yeah, nothing, because McGuffin knows if he pops it up, he's dead, so he's got to just ease that into the kitchen. We're at match point.
Match point and championship point for Federico Staksrud. And another time now, he's going to make Fed think about this one just an extra second. I mean, what's impressed you the most? We talked about it during one of the breaks, but just how smooth Fed is in terms of his shot selection and even just contact ball to paddle.
Yeah, his movement is just effortless, and he's worked really hard on that. And then he can get his body to the right strike point so well. And then you've got to execute, though. And what I mean by execute is not just the choices you make, but the ball height on these passing shots. If you leave it up at all, you will get crushed. He has kept it very low above the net, and it has been really, really good. And that is an impressive score. We talked about how every game between these two had been at the most a 7 or 8. They're 13-11s, and now here he is about to has a chance at 11-3.
Just out of reach, tries to cuff that and bring it back, so McGuffin earns the ball back.
3-10. Are we called a score? 3-10.
That is a rare sighting there. A backhand passing shot attempt from McGuffin, but that's how good that short angled return was from Staksrud to force it.
Second shot, championship point. You gotta love the hands battles in the game of singles. It's like a unicorn.
It is. See, you love when it happens, though, and you knew they were going to stare each other down right there.
Forehand winner for Tyson McGuffin.
Forward, 10.
Another terrific return from Staksrud. Even the one before that he got passed on was right in the corner. McGuffin just beat him. Third chance for a title right here.
10-4.
Wasn't enough there. Like a merry-go-round going around the net here for Federico Staksrud. The 2 bounce.
And McGuffin's like, get back on your side, buddy.
4-10.
Got to go for it.
You have to. I mean, it's, you hate to say it's in the budget at that moment, but it is. You got to go for it.
Another 2 bounce. Using every inch of the court right now is Tyson McGuffin. He's having to be forced into some pretty intense angles.
Yeah, he'd love to get a couple here and put scoreboard pressure on, because that plus 4 championship points saved.
And there he finds the inside out. Tough with him getting pushed into that corner.
It's a good look from McGuffin. Camp cam.
The fan cam.
5-10.
And I like that. I mean, you want to talk about changing your strategy, goes the opposite direction, forces him to try and find the other corner. Federico Staksrud just 1 play ahead right now.
5.
Staksrud takes home the title for men's pro singles. The #1 seed earns gold here in North Carolina, 11-7, 11-5. Federico Staksrud was unstoppable. Welcome back to the OS1st North Carolina Open, presented by Intralinks. Federico Staksrud remains the top dog here in North Carolina as he picked up gold over Tyson McGuffin in men's pro singles. He's currently standing courtside with the 3rd member of our crew, Cameron Blackwood.
Thanks, Cam. Fed, not much cat and mouse play up at the kitchen line, but you're really dictating play with your drives from the baseline. Was that your plan going in?
Yeah, I mean, I think I always say the same thing. Every player, you have a different game plan. We all know each other really well. I'm sure Tyson knows how to play me. He knows my weaknesses. But then it comes to who execute them better. So I think I did them well, and I'm happy to go with the trophy.
And we know you had Pablo and DJ Young on your bench there. What advice were they giving you throughout the match?
Yeah, I mean, Pablo was reminding me that game plan, because when you're playing, usually you forget about that stuff. So, yeah, I mean, it's great to have them there. Let me yeah, shout out to them, DJ and Pablo, they were there supporting me. Also shout out to Jill and Ted, they host us this week, and they were super nice. They made us feel like we're in home. Was amazing. Also shout out to Ryan Sherry, who I was practicing with him a lot of indoors. I know he wanted to defend the title this week, but at least he's staying in Fort Myers, so that's good. And all the guys in the underground, and also shout out to my sponsors, Yola and Toro Sox. Yola for giving me this amazing paddle, which is gonna come out next month.
And your first gold was Atlanta last year, but what about your singles game do you feel has improved the most?
Yeah, I mean, for sure the doubles game helped me a lot for singles. The soft touch in the kitchen line helps a lot. Also the hands. But yeah, I mean, I want to keep improving. I think all of us want to keep improving because the game is in such an early stage. So that's the amazing part of it.
Well, congratulations. We're going to go ahead and get the trophy in your hand on behalf of the Carvana PPA Tour, as well as our title sponsor, OS1st, Josh Higgins, president.
But at OS1st, we are a 3-generation family sock business out of Hickory, North Carolina, and it is my honor to present to you the North Carolina Open Championship Trophy. Congratulations.
Thanks, Kim.
Federico Staksrud, victorious in North Carolina here at Lifetime, a fantastic venue as we get now set for women's pro doubles. Parenteau, Waters, Grechkina, and Stratman. Both Grechkina and Stratman looking for their first PPA gold. We now head on this championship Sunday. Federico Staksrud just picked up the first gold medal of the day over Tyson McGuffin, but now the story goes to the #1 seed and the #1 player in the world. Leigh Waters partnered up alongside Parenteau, facing off against a new opponent in just their second tournament together. Get this, they've made championship Sunday. Grechkina, that's Yana Grechkina, and Lauren Stratman. A dynamic duo now hits championship court. We saw them in a fantastic semifinal just in the late hours yesterday here in Charlotte, North Carolina. But this is a tough task to have to face Parenteau and Leigh Waters. Let's take a look at Lauren Stratman, a product of Westmont College for her collegiate tennis days. Out of Santa Barbara, California, now a resident of Austin, Texas.
She sure is, and getting a lot of good practice down there. Really impressed. These first dates, you wonder how they go. They got a bronze in their first match, or in their first tournament together, and here they are playing for gold. Really well done. Her game has been terrific.
Yeah, she's been so solid playing that left side, and on the right side is Yana Grechkina. I'm also loving the mirroring outfits, ladies, the black and red. I mean, it is a championship Sunday.
I mean, come on, taking a note from Tiger Woods and his championship Sunday red. And this is also team free agent. You know, she's using a demo paddle. It says it right on the paddle there for Grechkina. She should keep writing demo on her paddles with how well she's been playing. And again, we talk about these new teams, roles and understanding how and what you need to do to play well. They've got this figured out. Really impressive.
Well, let's head to the other side, the #1 team here in North Carolina. Leigh Waters coming off a month-long break, just 16 years old, and man, is she playing fearless.
She is. You knew what the break did last year when she came back and she just wrecked everybody. Same thing happening here, and I know Stratman and Grechkina don't want me to say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. She hasn't lost in women's doubles all year long.
Well, and she hasn't lost alongside that woman right there, Parenteau. She's played multiple tournaments in 2023, having picked up multiple titles as well. Parenteau is an absolute force out of Canada.
She sure is. She was hoping to defend all 3 of her titles from last year. She won the Triple Crown in North Carolina. Just has one opportunity to do so. Did pick up a bronze in mixed doubles. Got knocked out of singles by the local favorite, Brooke Buckner. So congrats to Brooke for that's a big victory for her. But these two, the challenge, Cam, with these two is you're like, okay, well, they got all the pace and they have the defense to go with it. That's why it is really difficult to beat them.
and you can see they have yet to drop a game. But I will say that number 4 seed of Glosman and Wright, that was a very fun matchup to watch. Vivian Glosman making her professional pickleball debut here in North Carolina alongside Anna Bright, and I'm hoping that's a partnership we get to see again.
Yeah, I mean, Anna Bright was sort of stuck. All of a sudden, you know, Andrea Koop was hurt in the prior tournament, trying to get back, couldn't get here, couldn't get healthy. And what does Anna Bright do? She calls her old tennis buddy, the fellow Cal Barron. Glosman shows up against these two and played terrific. And then Grechkina and Stratman, look at who they beat. Buckner, Padiga-Meta. Then they beat the red-hot Callie Smith and Lucy Kovalova, who won the last tournament. That's a great win. And then Irvin and Kawamoto looked fantastic yesterday, and that was a slugfest.
That was daunting as they hit that game 3. And you take a look, I mean, they had to take down some top-tier teams in order to get to this championship match. 2 of those going to 3 games played. But Annalie Waters and Catherine Parenteau already have 2 titles to their name in 2023. Annalie Waters has 5 women's doubles titles. She's only entered 5 tournaments this year and picked up each one in terms of women's pro doubles. So we get set now for the Women's Pro Doubles Championship match. What can Yana, Grechkina, and Lauren Stratman do in terms of strategy? You know the pace is going to be coming their direction.
And they've been playing with a lot of pace.
They have been.
So let's start with that. Maybe our pace is enough to get us going in this match. I don't think they want to change what's gotten them here. I think they have to be smart with the ball placement. They do not want to speed the ball up from bad locations. And we'll see. It was interesting against Irvin and Kawamoto how most of the balls were actually funneled to Lauren Stratman. Will that continue here, or will Grechkina see a lot more balls? We'll keep an eye on that for sure.
Well, that cross-court matchup might come to fruition between Lauren Stratman and Annalie Waters. Not sure if she's starting on the right. She's got ball in hand, so maybe she is on that right side. But that's one of the other nice parts about these two in their game is just so much flexibility switching from the right to the left.
And that puts pressure on the other side because you work out a scenario and a pattern that you want, and then wait a minute, Annalie's in front of me now, so that changes everything. And that's what makes a great player, being comfortable on both sides, because it just adds to the available things you can do if you get into a problem in the middle of a match.
Well, some big moments for Yana Grechkina now in her very first championship match in any discipline here on the Carvana PPA Tour. Maybe a few little nerves, but Lauren Stratman, she can settle her. She's been in this position before. It came back in 2021, and get this, it was actually facing off against the woman standing on the other side, and Catherine Parenteau. She was partnered up with Jessie Irvin at the time. That was back at the Masters in 2021.
Yeah, I think the thing that amateur players can learn from this setup is when you go out and play your fun rec games, and I don't care what level or where you wish to get to, don't just play one side. Play both sides and get used to it. Don't just say I don't have a backhand or whatever. Get out there and work on those things so that you can play either side and have fun doing it both ways. So this is gonna be a fun one. Let's play pickleball.
And Catherine looks to take the first shot. Just so you're aware as well, we're playing best 3 of 5 for these gender doubles matchups on Championship Sunday. Annalie Waters from the right, straddling the center line.
0-0-2.
Already a different look as we've seen them dink to Yana Grechkina.
0-0-1. Second serve.
Yana Grechkina, originally out of Vladimir, Russia, now residing in Kansas City, Missouri. She played her collegiate tennis there as well. University of Missouri, Kansas City, and won back-to-back championships in 2018 and 2019. There's a look at Yana, recently married as well to another pro pickleball player, Ben Newell.
Yeah, Mr. Newell's got the upset of the year with his impressive victory over Ben and Colin Johns. They've only lost once, and Mr. Newell was part of it.
And Yana, just about a month ago, has actually gone full-time pickleball. She was also an accountant, but has since moved away from that and has dedicated herself fully to this game. And I also love seeing the approach from Catherine Parenteau and Leigh Waters. They talked about it in a post-match interview that they like to kind of spread the ball around to not allow one specific player to get into a rhythm on the opposing side.
For sure, and if you get repetition, you start to feel comfortable, and then you're grooved, and then that flows into all of your other shots throughout the day. So you do not want that from an opponent. And after a slow start, 3 quick points in a row here for these two, and they just keep switching back and forth. They're going to play it straight up so far.
Even shifting from that left, finding the backhand. Traditionally, it's the forehand coming across
most
there.
people want to do that. Why are we adding degree of difficulty, Leigh Waters? Because she loves the two-handed poach.
There's a two-handed counter from Catherine Parenteau. Now up 5-0.
Yeah, that ball's got to get down from Stratman and Grechkina, and they are going to put a stop to this. So after a pitcher's duel to start, it was 0-0 for a while. Grand slam and a solo shot, and it's 5-0 here from Parenteau and Waters, and they look fantastic.
Leigh Waters, the #1 player in the world, coming back to the pickleball court after a month off, and she does not look like she has missed a step. Right now with a 5-0 advantage in women's pro doubles alongside Catherine Parenteau. Just game 1 action. So into that timeout, what can the conversation be for Grechkina and Stratman?
Get the ball on the ground and then find an opportunity to attack. And they had 2 beautiful attacks there that were fended off. You can't let that discourage you. There's another one. You can't believe that you found the exact spot, and Parenteau can get the paddle there and keep the ball down. That's just really good from Catherine.
And the trek just continues. They are hitting each of their spots beautifully right now.
8-0-1. Second serve.
That was all on a 1 there. That's how dominant that little run was.
Nice shot for Lauren Stratman, finding that left hip.
0-8-1.
Grechkina and Stratman looking to find their first.
Second serve.
And they get their first off the missed dink.
1-8-2.
And dropping the direction of Catherine Parenteau.
Yeah, get that ball on the ground, and Grechkina's coming in. You can drop and crash just like that.
2A2.
Oh, they showed off some really nice hands and defensive plays, but the net just got in the way.
8-2-1.
And it's Parenteau this time.
Oh, Canada. That was impressive. And that's what you want to do when your partner's engaged with,
9-2-1.
just let them stay engaged. Don't try and put your paddle in there. They know where the ball's going and where it's likely to come
Second
back.
serve.
Annalie Waters with the paddle check.
9-2-2.
We all do it.
Oh, it's always the paddle's fault, even if it says demo.
Heads up.
Side out.
Nearly took out an eye.
It's a great lob. It's the first lob we've seen in this match. Really well executed by Stratman, and then sit right on that kitchen line, wait for something, and really good
2-9-1.
finish.
Second serve.
And there's a great point to understanding where the next ball goes. Backhand attack down the middle. The
2-9-2.
reply is likely to be in the middle, and that is exactly where Annalie Waters went to get that combo and finish it.
A beautiful shot for Lauren Stratman. Getting herself going there. I like the two-hand backhand. A little disguise to that.
3-9-2.
Oh, and Stratman had played it so well.
Third shot drive, fifth shot drive, seventh shot drive, ninth shot drive, and she was in great position. And again, Parenteau is able to just keep that going and throws it back into the kitchen. That's really impressive. But that's, you can't let that deter you, because that's the way they are going to be able to hang in there in this match.
It's just wide.
Point.
Gets Annalie Waters and Parenteau to a game point.
10-3-1.
And gets it off the net. So 11-3 for the #1 seed.
Yeah, after a slow start where it was 0-0 for the first 2 or 3 minutes of this match, it was all the top seed. That's why they got the 1 next to their name, and that's why Annalie Waters has not lost in women's doubles all year long. Welcome back, everybody. A dominant performance from Parenteau and Annalie Waters here at the OS1st North Carolina Open, presented by Intralinks. There's a good look at Yana Grechkina, and they are going to have to get into their game and not be discouraged when their attacks keep coming back. They got to stay on it, and they got to execute better, or else it is going to be a short stay on center court. That's just too good for Parenteau. Straddles the sideline and hits a clean winner off a pretty good drop from Grechkina.
0-0-1. Second serve.
stay aggressive from Stratman. So similar to game number 1, no points scored after the first 2 side outs.
Second serve.
And the fundamentals are going to have to be perfection to keep this within range. Got to make all your thirds, get to that kitchen. And there's the defense. You always know you love the flash and the power of Parenteau and Leigh Waters, but my goodness, the defense there.
Side out.
Stratman and Grechkina way ahead throughout that rally and don't have a point to show for it.
Second serve.
Yana Grechkina gets a shot in.
0-0-2. Side out.
These two are going to be playing a few more events together come June and July. Grechkina and Stratman, that is.
0-0-1.
They should. 2 for 2 in podiums, no matter how this match ends up.
Second serve.
But again, there's the thirds and fifths have got to be made. This is your chance to
0-0-2.
get yourself going in a match. Ooh, dear.
Wait, catches Leigh.
And she is wearing glasses. I'm not sure where that caught her.
Side out.
Leigh Waters with the serve. And a clean winning dink for Parenteau.
Yeah, Grechkina had closed middle and had a very aggressive court positioning. If you do that, that ball has got to hit the ground. Great job by Parenteau of not trying to overhit a wide open court. No disguise there. Full wind up, full power coming through the middle there by Leigh Waters. They've erased the 2-point deficit.
And all of a sudden they have the advantage.
Again, they were caught with the paddles on the wrong side, but their hands are so good they're able to adjust and keep the ball in a safe place.
And you know, if you think all the way back to the very first event of 2023, Yana Grechkina actually played alongside Parenteau to start out the year. As well, Leigh played alongside Anna Wright, where she took home the title.
Going back and forth. I'll win with Anna. I'll win with Catherine. Back with Catherine here. Good firefight there, but this is why this duo is so lethal. You're like, hey, this is tight again. Oh, we got up 2-0, and the next thing you know, you're calling timeout and you're in a huge hole again.
So Leigh Waters and Parenteau back on top here in game number 2 in this best of 5 in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Cam, as commentators, you know what we love? Outstanding returns. They're so critical to pickleball, and it turns out so does Bent. It's an investment platform working to provide returns through alternative assets. They make it possible for investors big and small to diversify their portfolio with fine wine and rare spirits. That's right, SEC qualified offerings that you can add to your investment portfolio. Learn more at vint.co.
Plenty of support on their side. Julian Arnold having the conversation. He is a big proponent of those two in terms of putting some strategy together, keeping them steady as they go.
And there you see the up-and-comer Judith Castillo. Judith has been really, really good and is a player on the rise. Love to see Judith out on the court, and good to see her supporting her fellow players.
My goodness, so many net cords.
Yeah.
And I think that's what Lauren's saying. She's like, what are we supposed to do?
How many times do we have to readjust our paddles off the tape?
Point.
And this is where you've got to get the frustration back in the box and get out there and play.
7-2-1.
7 in a row.
So the question is, do you strike first against this team of Catherine and Anna-Leigh, or do you wait to counter?
I think you got to strike first on the ball, but you got to earn the right to strike first. It's a great volley there from Grechkina. Much better return, deep. So let's see if they can get to the kitchen line here.
2-7-1.
It was really fun getting a chance to catch up with Yana Grechkina at the beginning of this season, just talking about her playing style. Loves to play a little bit of a riskier style in accordance to what she has said, just in terms of some of her shot selection. She likes to be the aggressor. And Anna-Leigh Waters just finding a phenomenal angle off the bounce.
Yeah, again, just looking for something. Reaches in there, takes it out of the air, and rolls that cross court.
Going straight at the body of AL.
Yeah, Stratman 2 for 2 on great lobs. You can see on the track down, you don't want to swing crazily. You want to try and drop that, but Stratman was ready. Good response here from these two.
Side out.
Little discussion about where to take the return
7-4-1.
here. The other thing that Catherine and Anna-Leigh are doing very well is when the ball is over hit, they're letting it go. It's another strength of these two. Don't play out balls.
There's a big shot from Yana Grechkina. She was introduced to the sport back in 2017 in her sophomore year. She said her tennis coach actually took them on a retreat, and they played for fun and kind of went away from it through COVID and then found it again after her tennis career had finished up.
9-4-2.
She said she was more of one of those that slowly started to develop a love for the game. I think that lob just got away from Yana a little bit.
Sometimes you get in your head, ooh, I'm going to lob him, I'm going to lob him. And instead, she could have absolutely tattooed that ball, and quickly another game point here.
Side out.
But yet, instead, it's a side out for Grechkina and Stratman.
4-10-1.
thirds and fifths have been a problem here in game number 2.
4-10-2.
Annalie Waters with a great combination, the 1-2 punch off the forehand.
10-4-1.
Game 2 is theirs. Parenteau and Waters are up 2-0. Grechkina and Stratman look to respond here in game 3 against that number 1 seed. North Carolina loves them some pickleball. Especially that gentleman in the front row.
He's been playing pickleball for 10 years if his shirt's telling the truth.
Yana Grechkina and Lauren Stratman here in their championship matchup versus Catherine Parenteau and Annalie Waters. The first championship for Yana Grechkina, regardless of whichever way this goes. This is a big moment for the two of them in terms of their progression and their partnership.
You need these opportunities and reps and learn from it. I think what I saw there is we need to go to Catherine more. We'll see if my lip reading skills and their execution of that is okay. There's the first one. Okay. Got exactly what they wanted out of it, just need to make it.
Point. 1-0-2. Side out.
A nice shot selection for Lauren Stratman. Getting that down at the feet.
0-1-1. Second serve.
Lauren Stratman actually
0-1-2.
transferred into Westmont, where she became a 3-time All-American at the NAIA level. Also a 3-time Player of the Year.
Side out.
That's no joke right there.
That's no joke. She's coached by her dad throughout her tennis career. Waters and Catherine Parenteau bring every phase of their game.
Just ridiculous track down, and then they know if they throw it up in the air, they're still in the point because they both defend so well. What a get from Annalie Waters, because the lob has been working for Stratman.
You see the little fairy hop from Catherine Parenteau. Oftentimes when you're trying to find the drop, whether it's from the baseline or transition, you just got to give a little extra love off the toe.
A little sprinkle dust there. Get it up there. Get over. Riley Newman's got the best Newman willpower of all with that. But you know, they have funneled the ball to Parenteau.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. Catherine's over here. She's
It's definitely 3-0.
Correction. She's in the correct spot. 3-0-1. Point.
Tough serve from Catherine Parenteau. That was an area she worked on in her game.
Yes.
Going more with this open stance from the past year or so.
So good. Annalie's like, hey, I'm getting frozen out over here. So came running in front of Catherine, made a perfect third, and then nice inside out. We'll see if the isolation continues. But when you know you're getting the ball, that just makes you even more eager and ready. And Parenteau has stepped up perfectly.
That's just a beautiful drop right there. So much depth on that return.
And then the pressure of Annalie in front of you just lurking. And that puts pressure on where you want to put the ball even after it's at your ankles.
Man, it's been so fun to watch the resurgence of Catherine Parenteau. These two now on the doubles court. They also face off multiple times on the singles court. Good camaraderie between the two.
Yeah, we went to the next stop on try something different. They're putting Yana on the left, but this is 8 straight, and they're 3 away from just running this cleanly to a gold medal.
Leigh Waters picked up 5 gold medals in women's pro doubles to this point in the 5 tournaments she's played. Catherine Parenteau, part of 2 of those, hoping to be an additional 3rd. Now championship point for Parenteau and Waters. And out of bounds, Catherine Parenteau and Leigh Waters giving out hugs and walking away with the gold.
Just absolutely dominant performance, smart strategically, great execution, tremendous run from Grechkina and Stratman to get here, but they ran into a force that is just too much to be reckoned with, and Leigh Waters remains undefeated in women's doubles in 2023.
Leigh Waters picks up her 6th women's double title of the year. Catherine Parenteau with her 3rd. And more hugs, why not? The OS1st North Carolina Open presented by Intralinks. Catherine Parenteau and Leigh Waters with a phenomenal women's doubles competition. They were outstanding, now standing courtside with Cameron Blackwood.
Thanks, Cam. Leigh, we talked last night and you said you're really trying to spread the court, but today you were really attacking the middle. Why the change in strategy?
Well, me and Catherine have never played Lauren and Yana before, and a good start is always the middle, especially with a new team. I don't think they played together that much, if they have ever before. So me and Catherine were just trying to, take middle balls, kind of take away their angles and, see what they could come up with. But I feel like the middle ball is a good strategy, especially against a team we haven't played before.
And Catherine, you both have incredible coaches over there with Athena and Leigh, but we see sometimes they're separated, talking to you differently, but is it the same information just structured towards your strengths?
Yeah, I would say for sure. Sometimes I just go up to Athena, I'm like, okay, what am I doing wrong here? Do you see anything? And then once she tells me her side of the story, then I go to Leigh, and then we basically come up with very similar ideas. But it's amazing to have both of them on our bench. It's a great support for us.
And you're originally from North Carolina. I saw your dad in the elevator this morning saying that almost all your family is here, but just how special is it to play in front of them?
Yeah, it's been amazing. They've never seen me play pickleball in person before because I unfortunately couldn't come last year. But it's just been amazing to kind of, show them the sport and have that cheering squad. Just kind of relaxes me and just lets me play out there.
There you have it. Let's get the trophy in their hands. On behalf of the Carvana PPA Tour, as well as our title sponsor, OS1st, we have the president, Josh Higgins.
On behalf of OS1st, I am honored to present to you the championship trophy for the North Carolina Open. OS1st is a 3-generation family sock business, and we thank you very much.
Thank you.
Waters victorious here in North Carolina. Family in tow and friends. You gotta love it for these two picking up yet another title on the Carvana PPA Tour. Coming up next is men's pro doubles. The #1 seed, Newman and Wright, get a second shot at #2, Frazier and Jansen. They faced off just a few short weeks ago. Can they change the script? That's the question. Lifetime hosting the 9th stop on the Carvana PPA Tour. Number 1 versus number 2 men's pro doubles championship match is about to get underway. Newman, Wright, Frazier, and Jansen, the 4 pros at the top of the game in North Carolina. Pablo Tejas, Federico, Staksrud, they're also chilling on the bench right now for J-Dub and Dylan, all good friends, training against one another and playing against one another.
Yeah, they had to play against each other in this very tournament, and it did not go well to the gentlemen who are not on the court. They're seated on that bench there, but again, that little camaraderie circles, different groups get together and support each other, and we are seeing that Matt is going to indeed start off on the right. So they tricked it up last week. They're back to where they traditionally prefer to play, and this has the makings to be quite a
Game
battle.
1, time in, 0-0-2. Line up.
So where might the strategy lie for Matt Wright and Riley Newman? It's one way to get a point.
That's one way. Yeah, I mean, they know that they got to keep the dinks down, because otherwise J.W. Johnson especially is going to reach in and pulverize it, and you can't give them too much love for their hands. If you get a ball up, you must attack.
Well, that's a different look right there from Matt Wright. He was the one reaching into the middle, that quick flick and roll. I don't feel like I've seen that speed up as often.
I haven't seen a lot of that, and he went outside shoulder of Dylan Frazier. So that's twice he's looked to attack Dylan Frazier from a low ball position. We'll keep an eye on that.
0-1-1. Second serve. 0-1-2. Line up.
So both sides know there are quick hands on either side, and if you choose to speed it up, and you can see how close together Matt and Riley play.
Looking for the counter is Matt Wright. You can see him just drop those hips, but a great shot selection for J.W. Johnson.
1-0-2.
Out of Pittsburgh, Kansas. The Johnson family now resides in Florida. Come from a very athletic family and a pickleball family at that. Julie Johnson, the senior pro, his mother, and Georgia, his mixed partner, and younger sister. This match best 3 out of 5.
1-1-1. Second serve. 1-1-2.
Dylan Frazier nearly brought that back.
Returning the ball to J.W. Johnson consistently here to start the match. We'll see if that continues.
Second serve.
You can see Riley pushing all the way to that right side.
Yeah, he's trying to speed it up and then get the next ball and counter. That's a tough thing to do against this team.
Matt and Riley now up by 1. I love that, the sliding forehand of Matt Wright.
Yeah, they've done a great job of getting to the kitchen line by dropping in the middle of the court because they don't fear a ball that puts them in trouble from there. There's a drive in that same spot and a good start for the top seed.
4-1-2.
There it is for Riley Newman, reaching in and rolling that ball through the middle. Some higher dinks, but this is a no panic team of Dylan Frazier and JW Jansen. Just casual.
5-1-2.
Doesn't let anything rattle them.
And in this tournament, they've never had even the opportunity to be rattled. They've been so far ahead, just playing commanding pickleball. So we'll see how they deal with a little adversity here.
That was a nice cover by Dylan Frazier, but he was still on the move on that final shot.
1-5-2.
There's the Ernie from J-Dub. Riley Newman has talked about just how much time he's really spent on that forehand speed up. So many teams looking to the middle against him, but he said he's just been drilling that like crazy now in Dallas, Texas. So now the combinations come in terms of partnerships. That one just wide of the court, but Dylan Frazier with the initial speed up.
Yeah, the first Matt Wright finger wag is gets him to the 6-point. Really good start. And this is what has not been in their game over the last two tournaments. Missed dinks, just a little sloppy.
So right now they are going to look to find their game trailing into the first timeout. And while we're in the middle of this men's doubles matchup, let's take a look at some news around the Carvana PPA Tour.
Next up, Atlanta. It's going to be a another wonderful lifetime facility down there. We'll see you May 17th through the 21st. We're always adding new cities, Cam. Seattle and Kansas City. See you later this summer. And then you saw a spot for this a little earlier, USA Pickleball National Championships, PPA working in partnership. It's coming to Dallas in November. Pickleball Boulevard, Cam. There's going to be concerts, food, fun. You're not going to want to miss it. And so much great pickleball as well. That is going to be a fantastic event down in Dallas in November.
They actually renamed a street, or are we just calling that like that's like Sponsorship Row?
We are going to rename that street if we can, but it's good.
I love it. I mean, we should.
The good people of Farmers Branch are shutting that street down for pickleball. Yes, they are.
I love it. Love it, love it. Can't wait to see you there. So Matt and Riley coming out with a vengeance here. 7-1.
Second serve.
And that's, again, we talk so much about how the importance of the ball bounce. If it doesn't, JW Jansen can reach in and flick that, and Riley Newman's out of position.
Matt Wright so good on that backhand counter.
Yeah, contorts his body so that he is ready, protects it, has that backhand out in front, and it's really effective. He's got some fast hands in front of him now.
Second serve.
Nice words of encouragement from Matt Wright to Newman there. Oh my.
And they just keep going, and there are words, and this is what's just so interesting. A team like this, you build rhythm, but it's tough to necessarily let the words get you there against a team like J-Dub and Dylan.
You're not going to get anything back.
Exactly.
But a tag that doesn't go off the net, that's impressive.
And I like it. They just keep going regardless. They know that's what they need.
8-1-1.
Solid job from Matt Wright and Riley Newman here in game one.
Second serve.
I mean, the partner communication from these two is on point today. You hear them consistently
8-1-2.
letting them know the value of the drops. Newman willpower and then an inside out from Matt Wright that clips the tape, and J.W. Jansen can't handle it, and it is 9-1, Cam.
Right up.
These two teams have faced off a total of 7 times.
1-9-1.
And it's gone the direction of Matt and Riley, 5 of those. But of the last 3, 2 have gone to Dylan Frazier and J-Dub. Quick hands for Riley Newman.
And there's a forehand speed up from Newman, and his hands are good enough to get that backhand dug out of the ground.
J-Dub sliding 1 step off the kitchen line.
Yeah, that one Riley sped up but got it way too high. Good finish from J-Dub.
3-9-2. Side out.
Again, funneling those dinks in the middle, and if J.W. Johnson's not going to pull the trigger on the forehand, then it is not going to come back with anything that scares you as long as it hits the ground.
And I love the timing of that from Matt Wright. It's just deceptive enough where he's sliding back, holds it long enough, and then it's that slow pull forward.
Second serve.
Another game point for Riley and Matt. Game 1 to the #1 seed.
That's a stunning score right there. Coming in with so much confidence. We showed Frazier and Jansen had absolutely demolished everybody they played, only losing 2 points in their semifinal. See if they can get that rally back here in game number 2.
North Carolina, a great place to play pickleball, but we're so thrilled that you're joining us here. Take a look at our schedule as it's been a fantastic championship Sunday.
Yeah, we're in the middle, obviously, of our all other matches here where we're got the guys on the court playing doubles. Tennis Channel said, wait, there's a guy that's done a lot in tennis, but he's playing pickleball. Let's capture some of the best stuff of that. So on Tennis Channel from 4 to 6 Eastern is some of the highlights of Jack Sock's couple of his great matches. There'll be a singles match and a mixed match, and then he is playing in the mixed final that will air on ESPN2 at 6 Eastern. Don't miss it.
Side up.
While Dylan Frazier and J.W. Jansen here in the men's doubles final drop game 1 to Matt and Riley. now look to even the score in the second. So what might be some of the adjustments? We noticed just a couple dinks not going their direction.
1-0-1.
Yeah, just clean it up, honestly.
Second
And
serve.
Frazier has been attacked. Saw him jump there. It's hard to get a good
1-0-2.
block when you're up in the air.
But also to the credit of Matt and Riley, some new speed ups we saw in
Yes.
game one. They've definitely been working on that phase of their game.
Side out.
Did that stay?
Yes.
I couldn't tell.
He was so overextended and off balance, he didn't hit it clean at all, and that was actually the perfect
0-1-1.
speed to hit it.
Same thing for Matt Wright. He seems to be more active through some of the middle right now.
Yeah, he's really looking for it, and then he's
1-1-1.
finding the perfect location, catching J.W. Jansen on that paddle side hip.
Second serve.
And that's the thing. Some teams come in and are so petrified of the hand
1-1-2.
quality of Frazier and Jansen, they won't take advantage of balls where they could attack, knowing there could be a problem coming back, but you got to get involved in that.
Side out.
Nice elevation there from J.W. Jansen.
Even better angle, my goodness.
Love the footwork here.
Second serve.
Keeping that on that right shoulder. Turning that elbow and wrist.
1-1-2.
Have you seen a notable speed up location from Matt and Riley in terms of going at J-Dub and Dylan?
Yeah, I mean, they've been trying to find that paddle side hip, and then they've been ready. They know these things are going to come back.
Second serve.
That one didn't go back.
That is not coming back. If you leave your dink up, then you are the one that is going to be
1-1-2.
attacked. But they've gotten a bunch of clean winners off of attacks. Clean winners meaning a winner, not no reply. Riley frustrated with a missed third there.
And again, it's Matt reaching in.
Yep, good adjustment from J.W. Jansen. You can see Riley Newman trying to help fend that back.
And there it is again. We've seen this pattern time and time again now from Matt and Riley. Matt just shifting, opening up that backhand side. So the question is on the counter from J.W. Jansen, because it's coming so quick, is he still choosing in terms of the counter the location that it's getting placed back?
Can, some of the time he just simply doesn't.
It's just a
have
reaction,
time.
right? And he's just
Absolutely.
flipping it down.
But we'll talk about what Riley and Matt are trying to do. Oh.
They weren't even sure. Dylan's sitting there going, I thought that came off both their paddles.
Yeah, so what Riley and Matt are trying to do is if Riley speeds it up to the backhand, he is literally trying to feed the paddle of his partner because he expects J.W. Jansen to hit it back down the line, and Matt's been there, but J.W. has been very good here in game number 2, getting that ball on the ground, and they're up to show for it.
Skechers Pickleball, the official footwear of the Carvana PPA Tour. They're ultra lightweight and responsive for incredible speed. They have Goodyear rubber outsoles with a specialized pickleball design for increased side-to-side stability and agility. Plus, they feature shock-absorbing foam and Skechers' famous Relaxed Fit design for incredible comfort game after game. Conquer the court in comfort. Skechers Pickleball, the official footwear of the Carvana PPA Tour.
My name is Leigh Waters, and I'm a professional pickleball player. My daughter, Allyce, is my doubles partner, and her 16th birthday is coming up. It'd be great to get her a car, and Carvana has helped us make that dream come true. They have thousands of options, and I'm a mom, so of course I want Allyce to have something safe. Allyce has absolutely no idea about this car, so I told her we're going to Carvana's vending machine for a photo shoot. Drum roll. I think this belongs to you.
Oh my gosh, what?
Happy Sweet 16, Allyce.
Experience it for yourself at Carvana.com.
Welcome back, everybody. Great response from Dylan Frazier and J.W. Johnson. Already have more points than they were able to get in game number 1.
Side out. 1-4-1. Second serve. One, 4-2.
J.W. Johnson right now adding a little fuel to some of those kitchen line shots.
Yeah, and the thirds from Riley there were way too high.
And even then, look at that. Speed up off the bounce. J.W. Johnson, let's go, bud.
If that keeps happening, that changes everything.
Apparently, Riley Newman's not the only one that's been working that speed up on the forehand side.
Yeah, we've not seen a lot of that, but that was a beauty before. And Dylan Frazier had a great look at this one, just deep.
Okay, Dylan Frazier.
Yeah, that dink was way too attackable. And again, you have to trust that you are ahead and go, and have they ever in game number 2.
Well, you mentioned the friendship between Dylan Frazier and J.W. Johnson. It was fun in one of their post-match interviews. They specifically talked about what some of the things are they discussed during the match. Keeping things a little bit light.
Yes.
They talk strategy, obviously, but these two like to stay nice and loose, and their friendship kind of comes to fruition as they hit the pickleball court. You're wondering who is going to take the first shot, and it's the quick flick of J.W. Johnson.
Yeah, there were a couple opportunities on both sides that were not chosen. Matt reached in and left that dink just a little up. Great recognition from J-Dub.
Side out.
Never get to the kitchen there. Good pressure.
6-2-1.
Wow.
Wow. Riley Newman He goes with the lefty and then finds the one off of his shoulder. I think he just had his paddle go all the way behind his head first.
He almost did a merry-go-round there.
You are correct. He almost did.
Wait. Seven, 2-2.
He went back to the well right at J-Dub, and he was well prepared.
Was he ever? 8-2. Flip of the script.
Side out.
Alan Roman, our referee, playing a little soccer there.
2-8-1.
Reaching in. Two of the younger players at the professional ranks, both J.W. Jansen and Dylan Frazier. Dylan's been playing the game since about 14 years old.
Second serve.
Saw that work earlier in the match, and Dylan Frazier's on it now, and that's how quickly these players adjust. Okay, I see what you did that in the game number 1. I'm ready in game 2.
And they continue in some more conversation, but again, Riley Newman
4-8-2.
has spent so much time on the pickleball court. He used to reside in Arizona, has since moved to Dallas, becoming a pickleball mecca, to your point.
5-8-2.
We're coming. A lot of great players there now.
The first of this match.
After all the dinking, great choice, because everybody is leaning in that way, and then no communication. That ball should be J.W. Johnson's on the lob.
So just like that, this second game is within striking distance for Matt Wright and Riley Newman. They are within 2.
Welcome back, everybody. North Carolina has showed up for pickleball all week long. Love being in North Carolina, and this team's got its mojo going. Here goes Riley Newman trying to come all the way back and somehow snatch game 2. And
that's another good point to add on to the mix. 7-8 now. Picked up game number 1, had a significant deficit in game 2, which they have now overcome. 8-all.
Keep dropping it in front of J-Dub, and as long as that hits the ground, or in this case it clicked off the tape, they feel very good about where that point is going right now. And my goodness,
I'm really impressed with some of the adjustments from Matt and Riley just from a few short weeks ago in Newport. It seems like they have not only found different parts of their game, but shored up some others. And that's deflating.
Oh, it is, because they desperately, the value of that 10th point, knowing that then you have to defend all the way to 12.
That's fair. That's a good point. And again, that combination, to your point, Riley just feeding the beast there. The beast is his partner.
Yes.
8-9-2.
J-Dub with the third shot drive.
Yeah, and he hit it right into the paddle. Matt lofted his return because he knew he was in trouble and had to unwind the stack. Drop in front of J-Dub. They get to the kitchen every time, but 2 missed dinks in a row.
9-8-2.
And a hold, so back-to-back for these two teams. Score remains 8-9.
8-9-1. Second serve.
Continue to drop, like you said, right in front of J-Dub, forcing him to have to be the aggressor.
Both sides playing offense and defense, hitting overheads, and some great track downs on both sides. And again, the Matt Wright lob got him back ahead, and they're calling timeout because that point took forever. And it's nice, as Matt Wright had to track down the ball just in front of him at the kitchen. He knows if he throws that into the middle, he has a safe place to put the ball. That's really smart. And they found a pattern that's working.
Just unbelievable play between these two teams to get to this point in game number 2. Let's take a look now to our upcoming stops on the Carvana PPA Tour. It's Atlanta next, and then we head to Texas. I'm so excited. We haven't discussed it, but we're even heading off to Denver.
Yes, altitude, mile high. Got to make those adjustments. Scan that QR code. You'll get the whole year. Sign up to play, get your tickets. You don't want to miss action like we just saw right there. And imagine seeing that in person, Cam. Come on.
Our graphics team doing such a nice job. I love that each of these tour stops has its very unique, specific logo branded to it. So they're beautiful.
So let's see if they can build on that unbelievable rally.
And Riley talking right at Dylan as he's the one to take the shot.
He was happy the ball was hitting at the net so that message could be delivered even closer.
They go right at the body of Matt Wright. He's looking to the sky going, oh, I have that. Matt and Riley surge in game 2 and go up 2-0.
Unbelievable comeback. It looked like it was going to easily be a similar score the other way earlier in that game, and now they are brimming with confidence.
Matt Wright and Riley Newman came back in game number 2 after being down 2-8 to now go up 2-0 in this men's doubles championship match on the Carvana PPA Tour. J.W. Jansen and Dylan Frazier are their opposition. And right now, they need to find 3 games to pick up a title. For Matt and Riley, it's been 6 silvers since their last men's doubles title. It came back at the Takea Showcase in November.
0-0-1. Second serve.
So when you have a team that you've got on the ropes, you let them back in the door. I mean, what can these two of Dylan Frazier and J.W. Jansen tell themselves after this point?
That we beat them last time, that we had the huge lead, that we got to handle these drops in front of us better. And then we've seen some of these attacks. Dylan Frazier has made a nice adjustment on that cross-court one. He's smacked that down a couple times.
And the hands, we saw it, that's what got them well in advance in game number 2. Just really nice hands battles, the shifting and court coverage from Frazier and Jansen.
Second serve. One, 0-2.
Dink left up just a bit too high. So do they push and maybe elongate some of these points longer, or?
No, I think you don't change what you do well. We did see one speed up from J.W. Jansen off the bounce earlier, and it was perfection. We've seen 1 of 1 though.
3-0-2.
Again, it's the confidence to take it from the practice court to the actual center court, and especially a gold medal match. But another good start to game 3 here.
A wind up for Riley Newman right there.
Yeah, so Frazier's trying to figure out, okay, do I got to guard line? Brings it right across his body. It's tough to get the paddle there.
Second serve.
They continue to test the middle. Force Riley to have to find a speed up. And a few dinks left high.
And Frazier just recognizes it, and sometimes those
3-1-1
that hit the two-handed backhand roll dink, you cannot hit it just perfect and it will stay up. Oh, and a little shake and bake. I like that for this team, actually, especially if the return's to Frazier and it's short.
3-1-2.
Well, and I feel like they've been utilizing that a bit more, trying to implement it more in their game.
Should. It's another weapon.
Heads up.
And they're a counter punch team, meaning if the opponent does something, speeds it up in the wrong place or leaves a dink up, then they'll go after it. But I think they can initiate some offense off a drive from the baseline.
Riley with a nice location, sets up his partner.
Yeah, and they've done a lot of that in hockey. You hear the people talk about a pass off the pads where you shoot it off the goalie, expecting it to go to your teammate to score a goal. Same idea here from these two throughout this match.
And you're just seeing such a wide array of offense from all 4 of these athletes in terms of mixing in different speed up locations.
I told you not to go there, says Riley Newman. Frazier's not going to give him back anything.
3-4-1.
And Newman and Wright tie it up yet again, but this time it's earlier in game 3.
And they're playing fast. They're chirping. It's a dangerous little spot in this match. After all that trying to work himself in, and then he's handing the paddle to the crowd after the easiest ball he got. He's like, one of you should have hit that one.
4-4-2.
And J-Dub finally gets on that lob. He's seen 2 fall the direction over the shoulder of Dylan.
What a overhead, not only to get there, but to find that angle and put it away. That's tremendous.
But I also think there's something to be said about shutting down maybe one of the many tools that Riley and Matt have been using. Now that is off in terms of availability. Potentially.
Riley let it go, but there wasn't a lot on that Dylan Frazier drive.
5-4-2.
Riley continues to just change his location each and every time. You just don't know where to put your paddle.
Yeah, very tactical, very precise. So some teams would be worked up about that because in the middle of that point, everybody thought it was over, and then J-Dub stuck a paddle out, but we're going to play through it.
They have the answer for everything right now.
Timeout, receiving team.
And that's going to force a timeout. Matt Wright and Riley Newman, man, they are focused and dialed in here in the championship match for men's pro doubles. Championship court is the place to be in North Carolina for this men's pro doubles matchup. Game 3, Newman and Wright with the advantage.
Second serve.
Cameron Irwin alongside Dave Fleming. And we've seen Matt and Riley do some wild things from game 2 now on to game number 3. Both offense and defense on their side. We're serving up double rainbows here.
Line to line on the lobs, Cam, and then it is Matt and Riley again with the difference at the kitchen line.
And as soon as that ball goes up, you know it's going down from Riley Newman. And immediately covering the line, shifting back to the middle. And Dylan Frazier just looks at Riley, doesn't say a word.
Zero chance anything's coming back from a audible perspective. Matt calls a ball that was slow and a foot wide out and made sure everyone knows it. And they are 2 points from running this out in straights.
And even the dinks going their direction. All of a sudden, it is now match point, championship point. Redemption on the line for Matt and Riley.
Side out.
Dylan Frazier, J-Dub
5-10.
earn the ball back. Dylan gets it and quickly turns.
It's not going to chirp about pegging Riley. He's going to go back and play the next rally much better there.
It was a shift towards the interior of the court after the initial. Oh, and they're both on it.
Again, Matt enjoying calling that ball out. One more stop to get to another championship point.
And Matt and Riley only drop one, now 10-6.
Look at that prance back to serve.
Matt and Riley back on top in North Carolina. Your men's doubles champions.
They played strategically smart. Their hands were on fire. When the ball was on the ground, it was them that initiated the attack. They set each other up with that beautiful choosing of where they attacked to give the ball to their partner. And they came roaring back in both games 2 and 3, deserving champions first time in 2023.
Just have to love the response from Matt Wright and Riley Newman, the #1 seed, as they found their redemption against Dylan Frazier and J.W. Jansen. Your victors now at the OS1st North Carolina Open. Cameron Blackwood with the winners.
Thanks, Cam. Like you said, redemption. They took it to you in Newport, winning in 3, but you came back and won it here in 3. What were the main adjustments that you and Matt made?
Yeah, I think the main adjustment was when they continued to dink us middle. As soon as I got a ball I liked, I was trying to find J-Dub's backhand. Obviously, that thing is lethal, but if we can get it in the right location, we had success, and then Matt was on the next one. But after Newport Beach, we lost that one. Matt and I had a heart-to-heart phone call a couple days later, and we rallied. We had the big chemistry today, and finally feels good to get over the hump.
And like he said, you guys are really accurate on your placement there. You guys are predominantly the ones speeding it up mostly. Was that the game plan?
Not necessarily. I mean, we actually tried to be more patient. Riley and I fight ourselves a lot, me especially probably. I like to speed up a ton. It works against most players, but then when you play somebody who has really quick hands like both of them, you eat it a lot of the time. I ate it a lot. I mean, we won in 3, but they were countering hard and countering well on a lot of my attacks. But over the course of a 3 out of 5 game match, it can get them on their heels a little bit. I tried to mix in some lobs, just do things to make them a little more uncomfortable. So it worked out today, but those guys are tough.
It did just that. You guys came back from 2 to 8 in the second and 1 to 4 in the third. But this is now your 20th gold medal. How special was this win?
Thanks, Cam, for keeping the track on that. Yeah, I've been sitting at 19 for a while. I just moved to Dallas, broke up with my girlfriend, so just a lot of personal things that kind of I've been struggling with. But luckily, mentally, I was tough, and Matt kept me positive all day long. And now we're excited. We're back-to-back champs in NC, and let's run it back in Atlanta. Let's go.
There you have it. Let's get the trophy in their hands. On behalf of the Carvana PPA Tour, as well as our title sponsor, OS1st, President Josh Higgins.
On behalf of OS1st and our Socks with Purpose program, it's my honor to present you with the North Carolina Open Trophy.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Matt Wright and Riley Newman victorious in North Carolina. He picked up his 20th gold, and by the way, he wants you to know he's single. Coming up next, we have women's pro singles. Annalie Waters takes the court yet again to face off against Leigh Jansen, the number 3 seed. Not to mention we have the mixed doubles final that we played on ESPN2 come 6 p.m. Eastern. Jones, Newman, Waters, and Sock. You're not going to want to miss these last two. Annalie Waters is now taking the court for the OS1st North Carolina Open presented by Intralinks right here at Lifetime in Charlotte. Facing off against Annalie is none other than Leigh Jansen. I'm Cameron Irwin alongside Dave Fleming, and Leigh Jansen is a force to be reckoned with, one of the fantastic singles players on the Carvana PPA Tour. And Annalie Waters, a tough one to have to face. Where can she have some success?
Well, the good news for Leigh is she won the first time these two played. The bad news is she's lost the next 16. So to answer your question is she's got to have the fortitude to just wipe that away. It's 0-0 here. She's an aggressive player coming forward. Choose wisely where she comes in. Try and not give her angles, so put the ball in the middle of the court and see if her brilliance at the kitchen line can be a difference. Tough task ahead, but she has been working hard to try and knock off Annalie.
Well, we have gotten used to seeing this woman's name on the draw. Annalie Waters, the 16-year-old, the #1 player in the world. So tough to have to face off against. Turned pro back in 2019. And man, is she good at singles too.
Yeah, she used to answer that this is my favorite event. She's come off of that a little bit here recently, but she is such a force to be reckoned with. Has only lost once in singles this year. Parenteau got her in a semifinal in Daytona, so only one loss there. No losses in women's doubles. Just an absolute force.
Well, you mentioned it. She has taken one singles loss on the year. That was to Parenteau. So there is the opportunity. There's potential. And you got to be believing that if you're Leigh Jansen. Without a doubt, if she's on the opposite side.
Channel some Journey. Don't stop believing over there, Leigh. You got to do it. And Leigh is as consistent as they come in singles. Podium, podium, podium all the time. And it's because that aggressive style is really hard to beat. And she has worked on the rest of her game. The two-handed backhand is a shot that she has where she can pass. And it's a good look at Leigh.
Leigh out of Washington State as well. Played collegiate tennis at Wazoo. And to your point, she's picked up multiple medals in 2023, whether it was a bronze at the Selkirk Red Rock Open or a silver from the Florida Open. I mean, she went 3 straight in terms of silvers, from the Grand Slam in Arizona all the way through Minnesota and on to Florida as you look at her road too.
Yeah, Lauren Stratman's a good win there in the quarter, and then Brooke Buckner 11-2 in the third. Brooke hits the ball really clean, is from North Carolina, had a terrific upset victory of her own, beating Parenteau to get to that match.
And for Annalie Waters, didn't drop a game to get to this championship matchup.
No, took out a very tough player in her semifinal in Salome Davidze. Davidze went on to win the bronze against Buckner.
Well, it's also time to take a look at the driving it home moment, brought to you by Carvana. We'll get you dialed in here again. This is the Carvana driving it home moment, and it's coming from our last championship. Matt and Riley versus J-Dub and Dylan, one of the longer rallies we had seen. Lots of hands battles. But it just kept going, Dave.
Yeah, and Dylan Frazier was ready to almost call that ball out, and we wouldn't have had a driving it home moment. That would have been bad. So this is going to go on for a while. Both teams hitting overheads. Gets crazy. This is by far the best point of this match because this was as dominating a performance as you will see from Matt and Riley.
Well, and there's that backhand like Riley had talked about. He said, man, you got to watch out for J-Dub's backhand, but if you understand where it could potentially ricochet back, you might have some opportunities. We saw the lob. That was also a new element for Matt Wright in this matchup. They found different offensive positions as, again, there's the backhand pickleball for Riley Newman.
That's a quality fist pump to end it as well. But these are the speed ups we were talking about as he goes to the high on the backhand because J.W. Johnson likes to slide and he's looking in the middle there. And that's how to drive it home right there. And they drove it all the way to the gold medal.
So Matt Wright and Riley Newman picking up their first men's doubles title in 2023. But now it's all about women's pro singles. Leigh Waters versus Leigh Jansen. Get ready for some ground strokes and baseline passing shots. Leigh Waters is going to be on the move.
And Leigh Jansen's going to be coming forward.
Let's get ready.
Best 2 of 3 games to 11.
Let's try again, North Carolina. Come on, game number 1, let her in here. Game 1, time in, 0-0. Side out. 0-0.
And immediately opening up the court is Leigh Waters.
Great serve, unbelievable roll backhand angle. That's why she is the top seed in singles.
So where would you look to return against Leigh Waters?
I mean, again, we talked about in the open of this match, if you put it back down the middle, you take the angles away. But if it's short, you create a shorter angle. So deep in the middle is the place. Easier said than done, when, especially if Lee's going for that serve. But you got to try and find a place where you can get to the kitchen line.
And you can see the emphasis there, just knowing the importance of that return for Leigh Jansen. One of the great fighters in the game.
3-0.
Incredible competitive spirit from her.
Point.
And that ball called just out of bounds, but Leigh Jansen trying to find that back corner, really forcing Leigh to have to move.
And she's going to find her bench here after a timeout call and a incredibly hot start for Leigh Waters here.
And Leigh Waters went 3 straight to start this year out in terms of women's singles titles. She won the Masters, then went on to Desert Ridge, as you now see what's coming up on our Championship Sunday.
Yeah, Jack Sock obviously made his debut here. Tennis Channel loves having a big-time tennis star playing pickleball, so one of his mixed doubles matches as well as a singles match will be featured in that 2-hour window on Tennis Channel 4 to 6 Eastern. And then the mixed doubles gold, Allyce Jones, Riley Newman versus Leigh Waters and Jack Sock, will air at 6 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2. Make sure you check that out.
Jack Sock making his professional pickleball debut alongside Leigh Waters here in North Carolina. So fun to watch them through this weekend.
Yes. A lot of buzz coming from Mr. Sock in his backyard in this hornet's nest you talked about earlier.
2 timeouts.
So Leigh Jansen hitting the reset here as she comes back out against the #1 player in the world.
Time in. 4-0.
And just carving that ball all the way cross court.
Yeah, so Leigh tried a little different approach, saw a chance to drop and come in behind it, and gets beat with another angle.
5-0.
16 versus 30 in terms of ages between these two.
Side out.
Nice slice return and short, so that takes away options from Leigh as long as that stays low.
Leigh originally grew up in Spokane, Washington. Started playing tennis at the age of 8. And she was one of the top ranked players in the Pacific Northwest through every age group.
Beautiful 2-minute backhand right in the corner. Gets Leigh Jansen going.
And Leigh doing a solid job from the baseline, especially on that backhand side, just missing after that ball returned to the middle.
Yeah, got a good look at that one and had an opening, but pushed it wide.
5-1. Point.
The Waters serve has really been a nice setter for everything that comes from that. And Leigh Jansen just cannot even get to the kitchen, and now she's in a hurry to get there, and that forces a missed return.
That's one of the hard parts when you're talking about the game of singles. You know, not only is the return so important, but you also have to get in quickly to be able to create some impact up at the kitchen line.
7-1.
You got to be on the move as you're hitting that.
Point.
And at 8-1, another timeout called by Leigh Jansen.
Receiver. 8-1.
So this women's this women's singles matchup, Leigh Waters off to a quick start. I mean, just striking the ball beautifully. Leigh Jansen versus Leigh Waters for this championship matchup on the Carvana PPA Tour. Leigh Waters coming out to a hot start in her return to the pickleball court. Leigh Jansen looking for an answer here against a formidable opponent.
2 timeouts. Time in. 8-1. Point.
Short return, beautiful roll.
9-1.
Leigh Waters again on the move. Turned pro back in 2019. She was just 12 years old. Became the youngest professional pickleball player in history. 4 years later, she's won just about everything imaginable. 8 Triple Crowns a year ago on the Carvana PPA Tour. The 2019 Nationals she won back at the age of 12 alongside her mom. Leigh Waters currently sitting on her bench.
Yeah, and the only thing slowing her down here is a ball lost in the shrubbery back there in the corner. Leigh.
Game 1 to Leigh Waters, 11-1. The paddle tap, and we will come back with game number 2. AL on top. North Carolina has come in full force to watch the Carvana PPA Tour. They're getting a shot to see one of our final matches on Championship Sunday. Leigh Waters versus Leigh Jansen. Leigh has already picked up the women's doubles title.
0-0.
Looking for another here. I mean, just when you think you've won a point, she comes storming back.
I mean, Leigh Jansen chose to stay back. I mean, she's emptying the vault of ideas here. Stay back. She got a ball, she thought, behind Annalee, and Annalee found a better angle.
1-0. Side out. 0-1.
And another side out for Annalee Waters. She continues to work towards that backhand side at early phases of these points.
1-0.
Oh, and she comes crashing in.
Side out.
Leigh was already thinking that's going to be 2-0 after she had to just lunge and throw that ball up in the air, but got a mistake, so she's gotten a missed serve and a missed sitter from Annalee here.
Side out. 1-0.
Running all the way across the court, Annalee Waters.
Not going to miss that sitter.
2-0. Point.
And quickly again, the paddle is tossed and a forced timeout by Leigh Jansen, down 0-3. So she's going to take some time to get reset on her bench. She spent a good amount of time on the pickleball court. Just thinking of the number of medals that she's had. Over 42 PPA medals in her career, ranging from singles to women's doubles as well as mixed doubles titles.
And to play this game, you got to have great gear. And the place to get that great gear is Pickleball Central. It's the best selection, curated by experts, 30-day paddle guarantee. Call them. You need a net for your backyard? You need balls for inside or out? Or do you need that perfect paddle for you? Call them, get the information. It's the place to get your stuff for this wonderful sport that we all love. Get your new gear at pickleballcentral.com.
Leigh Jansen versus Annalee Waters. Leigh looking to find something here in game two. She's had a solid year so far, already over 10 medals in 2023 alone.
Two missed serves is about the only flaw in the Annalee Waters game here so far.
0-3.
That's a great volley right there from Leigh Jansen.
Full lunge. Crowd wants more pickleball. They want Leigh to get going here.
1-3.
Make it 2-3 now. She's getting close.
Yeah, wants to go for the big serve. Put pressure on Annalee.
2-3.
Annalee just kind of turning her back there to the video board. I think she hit her own reset. Continues to work to that backhand side. So if somebody keeps returning to one side, do you start to shift after serve?
Absolutely, you can shift, and the placement of your serve can make that more difficult as well.
3-2.
And just the ability to find angles by taking pace off.
Yep, roll, dive in. I mean, that's either in the kitchen or not far past it to beat Jansen.
4-2.
Because if it's up in the air, Jansen's got the length and the reach to get to it.
Solid overhead into the open court. Mentioned Leigh Jansen from the Pacific Northwest. If you want to have some fun with her, apart from being on the pickleball court, like a true Pacific Northwesterner, loves outdoor activities. Might be able to find her on the mountain somewhere.
Probably will. Find some mountain goats.
I have a feeling she can beat me down a mountain very quickly.
4-2.
Those are 3 straight amazing reaction volleys.
For sure. Put the ball in the middle of the court on the return, so you know the angles are a little bit different, and was able to fend that off. That's a great rally from Leigh. See if she can get another deep serve and force either an error or a shorter ball so she can come in. Oh, and then a little video board incident there.
I'll recall the score. 2-4.
Make it 3-4. A few loose errors from Annalie Waters and increased pressure from Leigh Jansen.
Absolutely. She's got the same issue as Leigh does. If you hit the deep serve, you're probably not going to be able to come comfortably up to the kitchen line.
And just waiting so long before hitting that, you have to choose which direction to go.
Yeah, and I think as she's running, she's just keeping an eye, where's Leigh? And then she would prefer to roll that over there because you have more room. The shot's a longer distance than over the lower part of the net, which is the middle at just 34 versus 36 on the ends.
Annalie Waters picking up game 1, best of 3. So all she needs is this second game.
5-3.
Solid depth there from Leigh Jansen. What are some of the keys to be able to kind of pick that ball clean just off the ground to be able to get yourself into the kitchen?
I mean, I think it's your footwork on how you choose to return depending on what side of your body. And you see a lot of these players like to cut that with their backhand and come in.
From the baseline, Annalie Waters.
Yeah, Jansen's just frustrated with not being able to put the volley deep enough to take that away from her. But again, your return starts now.
6-3 for Annalie.
6-3.
Again, that volley, just the placement, so important to keep that within the last foot of the court. Keep your opposition at bay.
Yes, because if that's in the middle of the transition area, then that two-handed backhand roll has all kinds of options.
3-6.
And again, the drop, it just creates so many issues in terms of trying to reach in there and create pressure.
Yeah, that's a really frustrating outcome of that rally for Leigh Jansen because she did everything she wanted to do. Waited, got a good ball to come in behind, was ahead. Annalie was in trouble. She did drop it, but still was in good position, but caught the net on that volley.
Leigh Jansen sitting alongside her vision coach is what she called it, just in terms of working on exactly what she's seeing on the court. Annalie Waters and mom Leigh. Do we have a timeline on when Leigh might return?
So, yes, I was texting with her quite a bit. 6 months to play full out, but she's probably going to be more like 9 months. And even in warm-up today, off camera, guess who snuck out there with a paddle?
Uh-oh, don't tell her doctor that.
I won't, but I think he's listening, or she's listening. And Leigh was hitting some serves, and it was Leigh who was getting them and returning them. And I'm sure she's itching to get back out there, but rehab, she said, is hard, but she is excited to know that the end, it's not near, but there's a plan to get there, and she loves that she's able to stay close to the sport she loves through her daughter.
Making some on-court adjustments here.
Yeah, we saw, I think it was Leigh herself that slipped on a towel earlier in this tournament. So Leigh was more worried about the visual of that.
And that is just a massive serve. How fast do you think that's coming? Oh, I asked him a tricky question.
Yeah, I don't have a perfect answer for that, but fast enough to create an error when you're trying to get your feet set and come in, and now it is just spiraling.
I've heard around 40 miles an hour.
I'll take that.
Okay.
We did have the speed gun out there for the fans.
I'm surprised we haven't done it
prizes,
yet.
So we need to do that. We'll add that to All-Star Week later in the year in Vegas.
Just to give people some context.
Yeah.
Dropping that into the kitchen is Leigh. And working all the way up to the kitchen. Just such great footwork from Leigh Waters. Leigh Waters now at championship point. Looking to add another. And on a return, she earns one more. Your women's singles champion, Leigh Waters.
Yeah, just a tremendous effort. She talked about how much family, how many friends are going to be there. Does a nice job of going over and thanking our hard-working referees. And that was as dominant a singles performance as you will ever see. Leigh Waters, gold medalist again in 2023.
Leigh Waters victorious again here at the OS1st North Carolina Open presented by Intralinks. She just took on Leigh Jansen and walked away victorious, now standing with Cameron Blackwood, the third member of our crew.
To keep training and getting better, but since then I've just focused a little bit more on singles and just try to get better every day. Something that many people actually don't know is I haven't been feeling too confident in my singles game the past, I would say, maybe 6 months, because my paddle weight was at like 8-9. So now I'm like at 8-5, and I can really like get around my shots a little bit more, and I feel way more comfortable on the court. I'm taking my time. So this tournament was kind of like a coming out party for me, really feeling comfortable in my singles again, and I'm really excited to play singles for the rest of the year.
Well, you did just that. And someone like Leigh, who is so dominant up in that kitchen line, how important not only is your serve to keep that deep, but also just creating angles from your third?
Yeah, a big deep serve is something I've been working on for singles also, and I was really trying to utilize that in this match just because she is so long, she gets up to the kitchen line, she has great volleys, those short volleys that you sometimes can't get to, but I try to avoid those by hitting really good thirds, and today I executed that.
And like you said, you have been off for a month, you got your wisdom teeth out, but is singles or doubles easier to kind of get back in the groove and find a rhythm?
Honestly, it was kind of just like getting the feel back for the ball in general. All the events are so different, but I feel like probably the easiest one to come back to was singles, just because it is a lot of like athletic movements on the court. But I also want to say thank you to my family and friends who came on and cheered me out this whole weekend. Thank you guys. You really helped support me through this whole tournament. And thank you guys to the crowd. You were amazing. So many of you came out to support pickleball, and I can't wait to be back next year.
Well, let's get the crown to your head. We have Josh Higgins here from our title sponsor, OS1st, on behalf of the Carvana PPA Tour.
Well, yet again, OS1st would like to congratulate you for winning the North Carolina Open. Thank you very much. Congratulations.
Leigh Waters picks up a title yet again here on the Carvana PPA Tour. 16 and continues to be victorious time and time again as you now look to how our day has shaped up to this point. Leigh Waters has picked up one more, but starting off at the top of the day.
Yeah, the winners today have been absolutely dominant. I mean, look at those scores. Weren't pushed to extra pickleball anywhere. Didn't cause a fourth or third game in the 2 out of 3. The best showed up. Look at this. 1 seed, 1 seed, 1 seed, 1 seed, all winning throughout the day. And then, folks, 6 p.m. Eastern, ESPN2, Allyce Jones, Riley Newman versus Leigh Waters and Jack Sock. Gotta have your eyeballs on that one.
You can catch that, of course, on ESPN2. There's also a window from 4 to 6 here on Tennis Channel for some more of Jack Sock's professional pickleball debut. This has been a phenomenal championship Sunday here on Tennis Channel. We've got more to come on ESPN, but we want to thank you first and foremost as you see Federico Staksrud lifting his trophy. His 3rd singles gold on the Carvana PPA Tour. Parenteau and Leigh Waters add one more to their trophy case. And Matt and Riley get themselves back on top. 6 silvers, and now they add a gold since November. Thanks so much for joining us here on Tennis Channel. For myself, Dave Fleming, and the rest of our crew, we'll see you back at the kitchen line.